My name is Michelle Hall, and I'm the marketing specialist here at V Technologies. I wanted to say thank you for taking the time to attend our webinar today. Today, I'm accompanied by Simon Volta, our Senior Regional Account Director. And with that being said, I'm going to go over and turn it to him to get started today.
Thanks, Michelle, and good afternoon, good morning, everyone. We appreciate your time spending with us here reviewing some of the QuickBooks Shipping Manager limitations that some of you, or if not all of you on here today, are kind of maybe experiencing, and maybe how StarShip can overcome some of those challenges that you're all faced with today. So with that being said, I'll jump into kind of our agenda today. So I'll talk a little bit about, who we are as a company. Obviously, some of you may have remembered us from the ShipGear days if you used ShipGear in the past. I'll take you kind of what we're hearing from all of you and others out there the last several months on some of the limitations that you're now faced with from QuickBooks Shipping Manager side of the house since their changes have taken place, and then how we do it better, right? How StarShip kind of take all of these limitations that you're seeing on a day-to-day basis and how we can overcome those, and we can provide you a solution that you can move forward with. And then we'll talk a little bit and touch on some of our key features and savings opportunities that we can also offer you as well as you move forward. And then again, if we have some time here, we will jump into a quick demonstration as well. All right, and then we'll leave a Q&A at the end, and we'll address any of your questions as we go forward. All right, so just a little bit about us, V Technologies. We've been around now 35 plus years, been focused strictly on shipping. As mentioned, some of you may remember our ShipGear product that was sunset back in 2023, but StarShip has been around since 1989. It's our flagship product that we're going to be speaking about here in our integration, but really our main focus is to basically be, kind of that best-in-class shipping provider or solution, right, for the various carriers that you are shipping with. So you have a kind of a one-stop shop and come and rate shop and generate your shipping documentation, not only with QuickBooks, but for those of you maybe looking to maybe take QuickBooks and advance into a bigger ERP down in the future, right? We do work with about a dozen or so different ERP solutions as well. So that is something that you can carry along with you. Obviously, our main mission here is to really just automate and basically get everything streamlined as best as we can and not have you click around and do things manually. Our main goal here is to really automate the best process possible for all of you, so that way you can just go on and produce as many shipments throughout the day. So that's our main goal here and kind of what we're trying to accomplish. So these are just few of the bullets that we kind of heard from all of you. I know there's probably a few others out there. We don't have a full list. We kind of want to make this too long, but really the ones that we kind of pulled out, right, are basically obviously losing support for multiple packages in a single shipment seems to be a big hot one for a lot of you. Obviously, that's a big issue because obviously that leads to higher transportation fees. So we want to make sure we can have all the packages, if it's 2 boxes versus 20, 30, right, being one shipment, so you get one shipment cost versus individual shipment costs for each of those boxes. Inability to ship third party, another big topic here, not being able to ship on someone else's third party account. For those international shippers, right, the inability to process international documentation, right? So that's another one that's come up recently with some of you, not being able to generate a commercial invoice or certificate of origin, something just standard that comes in our solution today. Even electronic pass-throughs, right? So we can now generate electronic paperwork to the customs broker of that country, so you don't even have to print the documentation any longer. So that's something we can definitely talk about with you if that applies. Authentication errors. This seems to be another one that a lot of you are running into issues with, especially with UPS, but now FedEx is just recently turning over their new API migrations with their new REST protocols. So obviously having challenges there. Obviously, we fully support now both the REST APIs on the UPS front as well as the FedEx front. So when you do come into StarShip, we will authenticate you properly, so that way you don't continue having token issues or security issues or anything like that. We'll make sure all of that is set up properly for you. And then last but not least, the overall reduction in flexibility, right? So obviously, for those of you using QuickBooks Shipping Manager, StarShip's going to give you even more and greater flexibility using its application. than what you're currently accustomed to. We could talk about what other features are available for you to take advantage of that you may not be aware of today. Okay, and like I said, there's probably others as well, but again, those are the main highlighted ones that we kind of pulled out from our feedback thus far. So how does StarShip do it better? It's a multi-carrier, multi-mode flexibility kind of solution, right? So we're going to give you one-stop shop, as I mentioned, right, to go in, be able to look at your UPS rates, look at your FedEx, maybe post office or other carriers you may be using today, either in a manual phase or some other application, including LTL, right? So for those you might be shipping some pallets, right, and you want to bring that into StarShip, you can do that as well and see all of your rates in one place, be it, LTL was the best option or parcel being the best option, and pick and choose which one you want to use that offers the greatest savings opportunity. Our integration is all seamless, real time. That's a big key word there because there's other solutions in the market, obviously. Many of you may have tried to look into those. What you're going to find is they use a lot of web connectors. Our integration is all tied through the Intuit SDK, which basically is a real-time integration. So the minute I save an order or an invoice inside of QuickBooks, it's going to show up in StarShip for my shipper to go ahead and process. The minute I process that order in StarShip, the tracking and cost is going to show up back on that invoice or sales order. So again, our integration, there's no time delay, there's no waiting around for anything. Again, real time is critical here because we don't have time to wait around, especially when you're producing, 50, 100,000 boxes in a given month, week, whatever it is, right? We can definitely get that done and over with within seconds, essentially here. We talked about the multiple package shipping, right? So the ability to have everything under one shipment in StarShip and not have its separate shipments broken out, and be able to rate shop that effectively. That's something standard that we offer as part of our application. Third-party and drop ship capabilities are also supported here. So for those of you drop shipping, through your facility or using third-party accounts, we can definitely assist you and we can show you the workflows associated to that. And then obviously having international and any advanced documentation needed, either printed or sent electronically, is also supported. We also even have ACE filing capabilities. So for those of you having to file for ITN numbers today because your values are over $2,500, right? We have a direct integration with the ACE portal that you could also transfer information seamlessly to and generate those ITN numbers within minutes. So another little advantage that we have there. And then the nice thing with our application is always scaling for growth. The ability to start in a small, maybe a small plan, maybe parcel only, but grow into maybe a bigger type of plan, or maybe even for peak season and building the plan up where you need more volume and then bringing yourself back down. But you always have the chance of growing that as you need in your business. So we have now over 30 different integrations with different carriers. We continue to add. We added 10 additional new carrier modules last year alone. We are going to be building this out in 2026 as well. We have no plans of stopping the carrier integration. So as more carriers reach out to us, customers inquire with us about potential carrier integrations that they're looking for, we do put those into a priority level and we look at other customer requests alongside of yours to determine which is the best option for us as a company and for you as a consumer to kind of put into our portfolio, right? We don't just put any carrier in here because a one-time ask was given. We will look at multiple requests, per carrier if it makes sense. And as you'll notice, this list has mostly the national providers on here, where others can benefit from as well. Those are the ones that attract us the most and that attract other customers the most as well. So we do have some 3PL providers on here as well. That's been something we've been adding more and more of recently, as well as some Canadian carriers as well on here as well for any Canadian customers that may be listening into this webinar today. Okay. If you don't see your carrier on here for any reason, doesn't mean we cannot work with them. We do have other means of potentially supporting you. So it is always best to inquire with your account manager, your account rep, right, to see how we could work with such and such carrier. So definitely do bring that up to us, and we're always interested to see who you may be using and who we can maybe connect with in the future as well. Okay, so some additional ways that we can also help you as well, other than just printing a shipping label today or a bill of lading. One of the things that we started to do back in, we've always had our postage discounts available for even our on-prem users. But back in November of 2024, we started to partner with Pitney Bowes, which we kind of had already an integration with and a partnership with. But Pitney Bowes came to us at that time and said, hey, great news, VTech. We have the ability to offer now the new merchant rates to your customer base in your cloud application, right? Which all means to you is that they're the best discounts that you're going to get from any provider out there in the marketplace today. As you can see, some examples out there, right? That we did for a customer here, right? And I'm not going to read all of these here, but just take one as an example where it was a 1 pound box, right? The average cost to them was around $7.73, and now we have that down to $7.01 for them in StarShip. So definitely some significant savings to be had. So if you are using postage today, separate of any other application you're using, definitely something you want to inquire with us and how we can help you. If you're not using post office today in your environment and you want to be able to take advantage of those rates potentially and compare them to UPS or FedEx, you can do that as well. So you see, hey, am I going to save any money compared to what I'm accustomed to with the other carriers I've been using all along? Nice thing here is there's no formalized agreement. There's no volume commitment. They will have you sign off on an informal agreement, we call it, just to load the rates onto your rate card. But if you ship one package or a million packages, it doesn't matter. They don't hold you to any sort of volume commitments or anything like that throughout the year. So that's the nice thing about it. There's no pressure to do anything with post office if you don't want to. Okay. And then the other obviously savings method here we have available for you is the ability to provide you discounts if you're using the standard declared value program through UPS. UPS approached us back in Q4 about a program that they were launching internally, and we were one of 5 vendors chosen to offer this through our StarShip cloud application, in which they called enhanced declared value. What this simply means here is that you have the ability of saving up to 30% when you declare value in StarShip for a UPS say ground or next day air package, as long as you don't already have UPS Capital enrolled in or another means or another third-party insurance company you're using. As long as you're using the standard program through UPS today, there is potential you're going to qualify for these savings on your declared value surcharges as well. What it all means to you is simply that they're going to basically file these through UPS Capital on the back end and get you paid faster, right, than the standard protocols they have in place today. So you would see a faster turnaround on your claims processing, your money's back to you faster, right? So it's a win-win for everybody involved. Okay. So if there's more information you want on that, again, please bring that up to your account rep and we'll be happy to speak to you more in regards to this program. And then last but not least here, where I do want to mention these 2 programs, if you're not familiar with them today, some of you may have been with the old ShipGear program, UPS Digital Connections and the FedEx Technology Incentive Program. These are 2 subsidy programs that the carriers offer to customers like yourself, in which they help pay for solutions like ours. UPS works a little different than FedEx. We are one of 60 vendors that you can participate using those funds with. And they will basically provide you a code to use with those 60 vendors. You can split up the funds however you wish. You can use it with all one vendor. You can definitely use it to buy StarShip Cloud if you prefer. They will hold you to a 2-year contract in that case with a revenue commitment you make over those 2 years. As long as you meet that commitment over the 2-year period, there is no payback option or anything like that. You are free and clear at that point. FedEx will offer you a similar 2-year contract. The difference is they will pay you directly to use those funds however you wish. It doesn't matter if you want to go out and purchase a new vehicle or if you want to purchase some software. It is your money to use and you pay us directly however you like. But a great 2 great programs here to take advantage of, especially if you don't want to come out of pocket with any sort of subscription fees or implementation fees. Definitely something to inquire with your account reps about at your leisure.
Hi everyone, my name is Jason Ferguson and I'm with V Technologies. Let's dive into a demonstration of StarShip so that way you can see the software in action. StarShip has direct integration with QuickBooks and can pull from either a sales order, like I'm using in my case, or an invoice. The integration happens in real time, so as soon as I save this document, StarShip's going to automatically pull in all of this order information, including the order number, the customer ship to address. We can utilize the ship via field. So if I put down UPS here, that's going to designate to my UPS account within StarShip. And then also pull in those line item information as well. So I'm going to jump into StarShip, and what you will see is that when StarShip pulls in an order, it's all going to be displayed down in this queue below. So you can filter off any of these queues, filter off any of these columns up above, or you can simply come up top, type in that order number. All that information from the sales order is going to appear on one screen for you within StarShip. Since I put down this is going UPS Ground, I have this defaulted to my UPS Ground account within StarShip. So if this is who I'm shipping with, I don't need to change it. I don't need to touch it. I don't need to manually pick the account. It's already going to be defaulted correctly. Really, all we want the shipper to do once they log into StarShip is just designate how the items are going to be packaged. So you can see in my case, I have line items being pulled in and packed inside its own box. So I can come in here and I can utilize custom packaging, type in the dimensions. Or if I have packaging that I consistently use, I can set up a packaging database within StarShip. So you can see I have quite a few packages already set up. If I select one of my preset packages, you'll see the dimensions are already pre-selected and hard-coded. So that way, as the shipper, I don't even need to type that information in. It's already going to be there. Then from there, StarShip's going to provide you a quote. And you can see we have 3 columns here. We have a list, contract, and a pride. So list, that's just going to be the published rates. Contract, this is going to be your negotiated rates. And the pride charges takes into consideration any markups that you as a company have set up within StarShip. So in my example, I'm having StarShip mark up my freight by 10%, and then I'm having StarShip push that back into QuickBooks. So that way I can hand that off to my customer to pay. I can also rate shop this order. So if I want to look for the cheapest option between my carriers, whether it's UPS, FedEx, USPS, I can have that information all available within StarShip, so I can find cost-saving methods. In this case, looks like UPS Ground is coming in at $79, while USPS is coming in at $56. So I can change that if needed. Then from there, if all looks good, you can ship and process. If you need to add anything in terms of accessorials, you can come into these shipment details where you can add on insurance, handling fee, quantity notified, print and return label. All these options are available for you to select at any point. But if all looks good, all you do is ship and process. StarShip's going to print out all the applicable labels for you. It's going to push the information over to UPS in real time. And then it's also going to push that information back into QuickBooks. So if I do jump into QuickBooks and I open up that order that I used to process before, you'll see that StarShip updated the next available line item with all of these order details. So now I have my shipped on date, I have my service who picked up the shipment, I have my tracking numbers, I have my items that were included within the shipment, additional tracking numbers for any additional boxes, and then StarShip can also push back the freight amount as well. So that way you can hand that off to your customer to pay. And then from there, as the shipper, you can just move on to your next shipment within StarShip. What else comes with StarShip is we have a whole dashboard for you. So you can jump into this dashboard and you can see that something StarShip will provide you is a heat map that comes right off the bat. You can see where you ship to most frequently, what areas you don't ship to, potentially come up with marketing strategies to target those unaffected areas. And then you can also throw on charts onto that main page. A nice, quick, easy way to measure total cost. You can update the dates if you want to, change it from 3 months to the last month. And then we have a whole reporting section out of StarShip. So anything you want to generate a report on, you have the capability to do so within StarShip. This is great for measuring KPIs. And then another feature that StarShip offers is that StarShip can also send out automated emails to your customers that contain the tracking information. So if you want StarShip to automatically deliver that notification to your customer, we can do so. It's a template, so you can design StarShip to how you see fit. You can put your company header up top, your website at the bottom. We make it look like it's coming from your domain as opposed to us. But most importantly, it's going to contain a hyperlink that redirects them to the carrier's web page.
For those of you who are interested, there are some specific promotions we do have running this month specifically. So definitely take a look and see what you can qualify for based on the plan you choose and all of that fun stuff. So definitely worth to take a look into if you are interested.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Simon. Up on the screen here, I have Simon's contact information. So if you'd like to set up a discovery call, please feel free to reach out. We can also set up a more personalized demo if you want to see how Starship can be further tailored to your company's needs and answer any questions you may have. We're more than happy to get that set up for you. Thank you again for everybody for attending today. We hope to talk to you soon.